The world is ruled by the serpent race, and every year 99 spirit rabbits are selected as sacrifices to the Snake King. Softy, a gentle little rabbit, is this year's victim. The offerings are all pampered and fattened to have the softest meat possible. The first time they saw the snake clan, the rabbits trembled in terror. Even a single hiss from the black snake sent them into panicked shape-shifting. He especially favored the young and beautiful rabbits. Those rabbits not chosen by him would be sent to the spicy rabbit palace and turned into dishes like spicy rabbit heads, ate treasure-steamed rabbit, or grilled rabbit. The terrified rabbits huddled close together. It was said that if they didn't shapeshift, they'd be eaten on the spot. They hurriedly transformed into beautiful young women. The only one who didn't budge was Softy. From the day she was born, her mother had warned her that it was better to let the Snake King swallow her whole than to turn into human form. While the Snake King was distracted by the other transformed rabbits, Softy quietly slipped away from the viewing platform, avoiding being picked by any snake. She had a mission to convince the Snake King to help her kill the Crown Prince. Softy anxiously weaved through the crowd of snakes, searching for the Crown Prince. She wasn't paying attention and suddenly got kicked. She tumbled head over heels across the ground, her mind spinning. This is it, she thought. I'm about to become a spicy rabbit head. A deep male voice rang out. How did this rabbit end up here? Softy puffed up her cheeks, lifted her head, and glared at the speaker. Her heart sank. My life's over. The third prince grabbed the scruff of her neck and lifted her up. Through her lashes, she saw a slender man with a gentle and kind appearance, making her think he must be a good snake. A guard named Lu Yi leaned close to the prince's ear and whispered, Your Highness, this is a pink wood spirit rabbit. Eating it could improve your condition. He replied coldly that he had no interest in a dumb creature that hadn't even shapeshifted. Softy, trembling with fear, let out a tiny sigh of relief. But the next second, Lu Yi stepped closer. Your Highness, if you won't eat this pink wood spirit rabbit, please let me have it. If she ended up with that black snake, she was done for. She squirmed free. She scrambled up onto the man's chest. To save her life, she threw caution to the wind and planted a sweet kiss on his lips, pleading. The man smiled, scooped her up, and said, I've made up my mind. I'm taking her home. Softy's heart raced. Just like the rumors, the snake princes loved being flattered by their offerings. Softy's joy didn't last. His face immediately turned icy as he said he'd take her home for strict punishment. Oh no, he looked so gentle, but he's a total creep. She couldn't go with him. Softy thrashed with all her might. The man pressed her tight against his chest. Keep squirming and I'll skin you right here. A smart rabbit knows when to quit. Softy went limp and lay still. She was carried back to his private chambers. A maid set her on the table and left. Turns out this man was the frail third prince of the capital, Tang Shu, also known as Prince Yazun. Unlike the crown prince, he'd never been favored since birth. Softy let out a sad sigh. Now that she was in his mansion, she'd definitely be eaten. Probably tossed into a stew before the night was out. What a miserable little rabbit I am. Her ears drooped and tears rolled down, her stomach growling loudly. Being sad only made her hungrier. You hungry? A cute little snake prince was staring at her with big round eyes. Let me take you to some yummy food. The little boy led her out of the room like he owned the place. Softy was scared out of her mind and quickly glanced around. But the third prince, Tang Shu, had vanished without a trace. Little bunny, want some fried meatballs? And this drumstick is to die for. The mouth-watering smell almost made her cry, but if she got caught, her own legs would be the ones getting fried. She fought back the drool. The little snake prince set the plate of drumsticks next to her. You're the little offering the third prince brought back to help me get stronger, right? Wait, what? I thought I was for the third prince. Softy was totally confused. Don't be scared. You offerings are all so silly. I don't want to eat you, the little snake prince said, wagging his tiny tail and patting her head. Softy looked up at him. The voice, the face, he was the spitting image of the third prince. Could he be Prince Yazun's son? The little prince handed her a skewer of meatballs. I'll eat with you. Then we'll be dinner buddies. Full and happy, the snake and the rabbit dozed off on a pile of hay. When Softy woke up, it was early morning, and the little snake prince was gone. She heard the maid's footsteps in the kitchen. Terrified of being spotted, she hopped into a nearby food box. The maid picked up the box, noticed it was heavier than usual, and Softy got jostled around inside. In front of Lu Yi, the maid said the medicine for your highness was ready and handed the box to Lu Yi. Softy's ears shot up. This is bad. She heard Tang Shu's voice, cold as ice, from outside. Have you found that little creature yet? Forgive my incompetence, your highness, but I'm certain the offering hasn't escaped the estate. If it gets away, it dies a messy death. Tang Shu lifted the lid of the food box. Softy blinked up at him, trying to look as pitiful as possible. He was furious. He snatched her up. You're pretty good at finding hiding spots. Softy cracked one eye open to assess the situation, only to see the man's toned, pale abs, really hot. She got flustered, squirmed a little, and a strange heat spread through her body. Has it been dosed with aphrodisiac or something? Tang Shu looked down at her with contempt and immediately dropped her. He was shocked when Softy boldly leaped up, cheeks flushed, clinging tight to his chest. Softy didn't know why. She just knew she had to stay close to him. You dare have designs on me? Lu Yi fanned the flames. Your Highness, this offering ate well last night and is plumper now. Stew or grill? Softy hated Lu Yi's big mouth. Every time he opened it, her life hung by a thread. Tang Shu said, Later. First meeting, I'll give a gift. Lu Yi, fetch it. Softy's eyes sparkled, thinking maybe he wouldn't eat her. But Lu Yi came back with a paper rabbit and viciously tore it in half. Mommy, I'm done for! Softy panicked and bolted, slamming into a wall of muscle. Tang Shu calmly picked her up. Such a scaredy cat, yet you lust after me? Remember this, next time you do, you'll end up like that paper bunny. No! Softy thrashed on his chest, struggling desperately. Shut up! Stop moving! Tang Shu grumbled, pressing her head into his chest. The impact made her forehead bleed, and she blinked in a daze. Oh no, a blood contract! Softy tried to calm down. Wait, making a blood contract with Tang Shu might actually help. She looked up at his forehead, but there was no mark. The contract was only half complete, and it only affected her. Now she could sense his life force. If he died, she died too. But if she died, he'd be just fine. What a raw deal, Softy wanted to cry. She couldn't accept it. She lunged at his face. Gotta try again. Use my blood to finish the other half of the contract on his forehead. This little rabbit's extra feisty today. Annoyed, Tang Shu grabbed her ear and tossed her to a nearby maid. Lock it up. If it keeps acting up, give it another welcome gift. That night, Softy's stomach growled again. That jerk Lu Yi forgot her dinner? Was he trying to starve her? She lay in the cage, limp as a wet noodle. A voice proudly called her name, Softy. It was the little snake prince from last night. Softy perked up her ears. You must have been scared today. Don't worry, I won't let him bully you anymore. The little snake prince was her savior, gentle and kind, nothing like his moody, unpredictable father. Softy happily gnawed on a drumstick. But you have to be careful, the little prince whispered. When he gets mad, even the emperor and empress can't control him. No one in the kingdom can. The emperor and empress? So you're not Tang Shu's son? Softy stared blankly, drumstick still in her mouth. I've kept a secret for a long time. I want to tell you, but I'm afraid it'll get you killed. Get me killed? At that, Softy jumped up and clamped her paw over his mouth. The little prince chuckled softly and stroked her fur. You're a smart offering. I like smart ones. Don't worry, I'll find a way to get you out of here. He patted her head and she felt her cheeks burn. But once again, she dozed off until morning. She jolted awake in panic. How did I fall asleep again? The little prince didn't even wake me. If they find me outside the cage, I'm toast. She glanced around. Lucky break, the third prince was still asleep. Gotta get back in the cage now. She waddled on her short legs, ready to climb in. Tang Shu's flat voice came from behind. Trying to escape? Softy shook her head like crazy. He must have told you there's no safer place in the capital than my estate. Want to live? Behave. She nodded frantically, thinking, big misunderstanding, I wasn't escaping, I'm screwed. Hold up, who's he? The third prince extended his snake tail, wrapped it around her, and lifted her into the air. The motion made her dizzy. What, scared now? Tang Shu leaned down, eyes locked on hers. Once again, his bare, chiseled chest was right there. Softy's ears drooped, vision blurring as that weird heat surged again. She instinctively kicked her legs, trying to get closer to his warmth. You pull this trick on him, too? Her head spun, she couldn't hear him. She felt the cool scales of his tail. She collapsed against his chest again. Tang Shu started to lose it. His tail yanked her away from his chest. Don't think he protects you so you can do whatever. The dazed rabbit snapped awake at his icy tone. He was really mad this time. Softy's ears flattened, trying to look as cute and harmless as possible. But the trick didn't work on him. Tang Shu flung her away without a second thought. That night, Softy and the little snake prince snuck into the kitchen again to raid the food. But she'd stuffed herself too full. Her round body wouldn't fit through the doggy door anymore. The little snake prince pushed with all his might, but still couldn't squeeze her through. Both collapsed on the floor, panting. What now? You can't fit. How are we going to get midnight snacks? Softy looked up at the window and got an idea. She patted the little prince's arm. That way. The little prince stood on tiptoe and hoisted her onto the windowsill. She waved her paws, urging him to follow. He broke into a cold sweat. Softy, I don't like climbing. She eyed him suspiciously. He didn't just dislike it, he was terrified. Was the little snake prince afraid of heights? Wait there, Softy. I'll shift into snake form, slither through the hole, and help you down. And that wrapped up another night of feasting. The next day, Tang Shu grabbed Softy's tail and lifted her up. He examined her closely. You've put on weight lately, little thing. Why is everyone calling me fat? Softy started to get annoyed. He couldn't resist poking her round belly with his tail. Definitely gained weight. She got shaken until her brain felt like scrambled eggs. Then he hoisted her up again. You're not even scared I'll eat you. Open your eyes and look at me, he threatened. Softy was pissed. She glared back defiantly. What's with that look? Tang Shu grumbled and tossed her aside. I really don't get what he sees in you. Are you two idiots cut from the same cloth? He's not just yelling at me, he's dragging the little prince too. What kind of dad talks about his son like that? Softy's head was scratched up. She was furious. She shot Tang Shu another glare, then pouted in the corner, stomping her feet. That's hilarious. You can't even defend yourself, and you're sticking up for him? Softy ignored him. He poked her butt with his finger. Looks like I've been feeding you well. It's time. Softy shook her head, clueless what he meant. That night they were back in the kitchen. Lucky break. Someone kind left a ladder by the window. Softy urged the little snake prince to climb up quick. But he just hung his head, not his usual cheerful self. She had no idea what was wrong. So she pushed the meatball skewer toward him. Don't be sad, eat. He stayed quiet. He lifted her up. I can't eat. He's sending you away. Softy, I begged him. But he won't listen. Tears streamed down the little prince's face. Softy's ears drooped. So that's what Tang Shu meant by, it's time, handing her off to someone else to eat. The little prince sobbed, unable to bear the thought of her being taken tomorrow morning. Softy felt sad too. She wished the little prince would wake up tomorrow and forget all about her so he wouldn't hurt. She raised her tiny paw to touch his forehead. But before she could, a big hand grabbed her wrist. She whipped around, shaking. It was Tang Shu. Well, the little bunny's all plump now. This one's gotta be delicious. Tang Shu coiled his tail around her and opened his jaws wide. Don't eat me, Softy screamed. She opened her eyes and realized she'd shapeshifted. She looked around for the little snake prince, only to find herself cradled in Tang Shu's arms. Oh no, gotta change back before he wakes. She tried to slip free, but he held her tight. If she turned rabbit now, she'd get squished flat like a pancake. Her squirming woke Tang Shu. He opened his eyes. Softy blinked at him. Good morning. You've got some nerve, little one. Shape-shifting right in front of me. Forgotten what I told you? I'm done for. I'll change back right now. But no matter how hard she tried, she had no clue how. Tang Shu lifted her chin, eyes sharp. Did I say you could change back? Snake guys are impossible to read. What does he even want from me? You've cleaned out my whole estate, but at least it wasn't wasted, he said, voice threatening. Softy feared he'd eat her like in her dream. Trembling, she pried at his hands. Please don't eat me. Then give me one reason I shouldn't. Softy's heart pounded. 500 years ago, a purple beam shot from the forbidden zone in the capital, leaving every female creature in the kingdom barren. The whole nation panicked over the bloodlines and turned their eyes to the long-eared rabbit tribe. She couldn't die yet. Gotta stall. Tang Shu eyed her flushed face and leaned closer. Softy tried to speak. But at the critical moment, she turned back into a rabbit. Tang Shu rolled his eyes and lifted the trembling rabbit. Coward. Right then, a voice came from behind the screen. Prince Sunying has arrived. Prince Sunying, Tang Se, is the sixth prince. Third brother, you're up late today. Where's the offering rabbit you promised me? The sixth prince wasn't bad-looking, but he had that spoiled playboy vibe. Rumor had it his mother, Consort Lin, came from a powerful family that controlled a third of the kingdom's military. Softy had no idea if he planned to eat her or not. Tang Shu suddenly gripped Softy's ear tight, voice laced with jealousy. Little thing, you interested in him? Softy shook her head wildly, terrified of pissing him off. Third brother, you always hate these offerings. Why the sudden attachment to this one? Tang Shu reached out to pet her. But Tang Shu wasn't having it. He yanked Softy back like she was his treasure. So stingy, third brother. Won't even let me touch. Anyway, where's that greedy, lusty rabbit you promised me? Greedy and lusty? That's how he describes me? Softy was livid and shot Tang Shu a glare. He coughed awkwardly. What's sixth brother planning to do with it? Make money, duh. Didn't sound good. But can a biting offering make money? The biting kind's the best. Most offerings are timid weaklings. The ones that bite back have fire. I've got a few in the arena already, raking in cash. Arena? I'd get crushed instantly. She should have known no prince in this kingdom is a good snake. Softy shook like a leaf, burrowing deeper into Tang Shu's arms. I even set up a brand new betting ring just for rabbits. I've got a dozen beefy bear rabbits waiting for it. Bear rabbits, if I go, I'm dead meat. Third brother, the one in your arms looks plump. Is that the greedy, lusty one? Softy didn't want to be sent away. Tang Shu, say something? She begged silently. But he stayed cool as a cucumber, lifted her up, and handed her to Tang Se. Take it if you want. Thanks, third brother. Tang Se reached out instantly. No, going with him means death. Softy frantically grabbed Tang Shu's collar with her front paws, while Tang Chi yanked her back legs. Let go, fat rabbit! No way! After a tug of war, Tang Zhao gave up, panting. Right then, a guard showed up. Sixth Prince, your mother summons you urgently. Tang Shu had to leave, but not without swearing he'd come back for her another day. Softy trembled like crazy. Tang Shu looked pleased. You've got guts now, little thing. I've been spoiling you too much lately. For your son's sake, please don't send me away. Softy whimpered, tossing all pride out the window. Tang Shu, annoyed, tossed her back into the cage. That night, Softy waited forever. The little snake prince never came. He probably thought she'd already been taken. She nudged the cage door, shocked when it swung wide open. Perfect, now's my chance to find the crown prince. She bolted across the courtyard when she suddenly heard the little snake prince's voice. She tiptoed closer to the sound. Had Tang Shu locked him up? The floor creaked, startling whoever was inside, but before she could react, a man appeared behind her and threw a sack over her head. Softy squeaked like crazy. She thrashed, trying to claw her way out. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her arm. The blood contract, Tang Shu was hurt. He was in the room too. If Lu Yi handed her over, she was done for. She bit through the sack and wriggled free. She scrambled onto the roof and saw Tang Shu shirtless, soaking in the pool. His left arm was badly wounded. She looked everywhere but couldn't spot the little snake prince. Your Highness, we're investigating the Crown Prince incident. You can't even handle something this small. What do I keep you around for? It seemed Tang Shu was poisoned. Was he dying? I've got a blood contract with him. Would I get dragged down too? Softy froze on the tiles, but her chubby body was too heavy, and with a whoosh, she slid straight into the pool. Tang Shu lunged over. What are you doing here? Lu Yi checked the sack at his side. When did the fat one escape? Who brought you here? Softy instantly pointed a paw at Lu Yi. Under Tang Shu's crushing glare, Lu Yi's knees buckled. It must have heard the little snake prince and tried to sneak in. I just caught it. So you came looking for him. But do you know what he is to me? Of course, father and son. That's what he told you? The little snake prince once said knowing too much gets you silenced. Softy didn't dare say more. She shook her head like crazy. Tang Shu smirked. He tapped her head. Wrong guess. A lump popped up on her skull instantly. She flattened her ears, looking innocent. Can Tang Shu read my mind? But the blood contracts one way. Tang Shu handed her to Lu Yi. That night, Lu Yi brought in a bowl of medicine. Tang Shu lay weak on the bed, refusing to drink. Lu Yi left. Only then did Softy poke her head out. An hour passed, he still hadn't stirred. She worried he'd die without the medicine. Suddenly, Tang Shu's eyes snapped open. Little thing, what are you doing here? Good, you can warm me up. Softy placed a paw on his forehead. Scalding hot, enough to boil water, yet he kept saying he was cold. A fever this high could fry his brain. She eyed the medicine bowl. She stretched a paw, trying to nudge it, too heavy. If only I could shapeshift whenever I wanted. Her ears drooped. She remembered how her mom used to spoon-feed her medicine as a kid. Way faster that way. Softy dipped her head and filled her mouth with the bitter liquid. To save her own skin, she went all in. She pressed her lips to Tang Shu's and fed him the medicine. Tang Shu, you have to get better. She waited quietly, watching for a reaction. Thankfully, he swallowed. Encouraged, she kept feeding him mouth to mouth, until more than half the bowl was gone. Exhausted, she collapsed beside him, her pink lips swollen like sausages. She checked his forehead, still burning hot. What kind of quack prescribed this? Fine, I'll handle it. Lucky you've got me, Tang Shu. She bit her own paw and let her blood drip into his mouth. What are you doing here? Daring to lie on the prince's bed? Lu Wa exploded when he saw her. He reached out. Hey, buddy, read the room. I'm saving your precious prince. Lu Yi glanced at the half-empty medicine bowl. The prince actually drank it? Little offering, how'd you get him to take it? Softy puffed up proudly, kicking a paw triumphantly. Lu Yi pinched her cheek until it blistered. He warned that if the prince's mother, Consort E, found out an offering was always clinging to her son, she'd turn it into spicy rabbit without blinking. Consort E was the emperor's favorite concubine, notorious for being ruthless and hating any offering that got near her son. Softy shuddered in fear. You're too loud, slap yourself, Tang Shu mumbled, rolling over in his sleep. Poor Lu Yi started smacking his own face. Softy signaled, drink the medicine, then mimed what she'd done on Tang Shu's lips. See, that's how. Lu Yi looked like the sky was falling. You dared defile the noble prince. How dare you, little rabbit? The prince's purity is ruined. Give back his innocence. He shook her so hard she spun dizzy. She didn't get it, just a few kisses. Why the meltdown? The tribute survival guide the officials gave her listed way worse stuff. With snake princes toying with offerings in ways you couldn't unsee. Compared to that, what she did was nothing. Right then, the full moon peeked out. Lu Yi's eyes bulged in panic. Absolutely no letting the little rabbit know the prince's secret. He reached out again. The little snake prince stuck out his tongue. The bitter medicine taste still lingered. He eyed Lu Yi. What are you holding? Your Highness, it's a dead rat. I'm about to toss it. The sack was clearly still moving. The little snake prince didn't buy it. Lu Yi said his hands were just shaking, then bolted. Something's off. The little prince turned to Softy's cage. It was empty. Softy was gone. Lu Yi, panting hard, finally opened the sack. Hey, little offering, are you still alive? Softy squeaked weakly. If she was alive, she was about to get squeezed to death. Seeing her frail, a murderous glint flashed in Lu Yi's eyes. He drew a dagger from his sleeve. Don't blame me, little offering. Once you know the prince's secret, you can't live. What secret? Softy was totally clueless. The prince is planning something big. Can't let an offering like you ruin it. Lu Yi raised the dagger. Suddenly, the little snake prince knocked the blade flying and shoved Lu Yi back, seeing Softy hurt. He burst into tears. Softy opened her eyes, using her last strength to comfort him. Lu Yi wouldn't let go. The little snake prince, furious, bit his hand. Bully, let Softy go. I'll beat you, you meanie. His tiny punches just tickled Lu Yi. Your Highness, calm down. Offerings are meant to nourish you. Come here. Eat her while she's fresh. Your illness will clear up fast. Softy lay on the ground, breathing shallow. The little snake prince wailed, slapping Lu Yi's hand away. Lu Yi was too cruel. Softy was dying, and he wanted the prince to eat her. Softy faintly heard the little prince's voice. She was endlessly grateful to him. It reminded her of the time she nearly froze to death in a cave. Before Snow Princess saved her, her only regret was not killing the crown prince to repay that kindness. Lu Yi scooped her up. Your Highness, if you don't want her raw, I'll take her to the kitchen to cook. What? No, give Softy back. No matter how the little prince screamed, Lu Yi pretended not to hear. At the critical moment, Tang Shu's voice sliced through the air. Stop! Who said you could take her? Hearing the prince's voice, Lu Yi froze solid. Softy weakly opened her eyes. Was it the little snake prince? No, the little snake prince was Tang Shu. But how? She must be mistaken. Her ears drooped, she finally passed out. Lu Yi turned and saw his master shaking like a leaf. Tang Shu lunged forward and snatched Softy back, coughing violently from the effort. Who gave you permission to hurt her? Go take your punishment. Even facing punishment, Lu Yi still worried about his master's health. He carried Softy to a quiet little courtyard. He set her on a stone table. The wound wasn't deep. He didn't get why she bled so much. He pinched her nose. She gasped for air and jolted awake. Tang Shu glared at her with resentment, faking death in broad daylight, making the little snake prince cry again. What a pain. Softy shook her head, checking herself. I'm not dead? The bleeding stopped. I'm alive. A miracle? The more he looked, the more annoyed he got. Just a scratch, and he had to be dragged out. Right, when I passed out, I heard the little prince's voice, but where is he now? She scanned around for him. Right then, Tang Shu coughed violently, spitting blood as his old wound reopened. He staggered and collapsed. Lu Yi panicked, seeing Tang Shu hit the ground. Because of the blood contract, Softy felt the chaos in his bloodstream. Oh no, if Tang Shu dies, I'm done. Holding human form was too much after the injury. Right before her eyes, Tang Shu transformed into the little snake prince. Lu Yi sobbed over the unconscious prince. The little snake prince? You know he's the prince's other persona that comes out at night. His existence helps the prince get the food and spirit energy he needs. But because of you, the little snake prince forced the prince to wake up. If anything happens to his highness, Consort E will have you chopped into 1,000 pieces. The little snake prince lay on the bed, head pounding like a hammer. Softy hopped up beside him. So that was the secret he wanted to tell me. But whether it's the little prince or Tang Shu, I want both of them safe. She placed a paw on his face. The scent of her wound drew him in. He grabbed her paw, popped it in his mouth, bit down, and greedily drank her blood. Softy wasn't mad. She just let him drink, hoping it would heal him faster. Night passed. Softy woke up with a weird feeling on her butt. It was Tang Shu's hand stroking her tail. She squirmed in embarrassment, and poof. She turned human again, but completely naked. Did feeding the little prince blood drain all her spirit energy so she couldn't even conjure clothes? What now? Tang Shu better not wake up. She pried his hand off, but felt cold. He instantly pulled her tight against his chest. Her body pressed right up against him. Oh no, this is straight out of some steamy story, and he's about to wake up and see me like this. She scrambled to find something to wear, but without her warmth. Tang Shu felt cold and groggily sat up. Who's there? He's awake. Softy hugged the blanket to her chest, freaking out. Is that you, little rabbit? What naughty thing were you doing while I was out? His fingers trailed from her neck downward, making her shiver. He probably thinks I'm trying to seduce him. No, can't let him think that, or he'll always be on guard around me. She clenched her fist and punched him square in the face. Don't get any dirty ideas. This is just a dream. Go back to sleep. She just knocked him out cold. When Lu Yi walked in on the scene and froze like a statue, he rushed in, stammering, "Who are you? What did you do to my noble prince?" "Why are you yelling? We're sharing a bed. Shape-shifting without clothes, what's the big deal?" "What, you're that rabbit? You dared tarnish my prince's purity. If Consort E finds out, you're dead." "The crap. If you don't tell her, how's she gonna know?" Lu Yi saw his opening and smirked wickedly. "Don't want to end up as jerky? Stay right there." His evil grin told Softy he was up to something. Like before, she mouth-fed Tang Shu the medicine mixed with her blood. Miracle cure, the second it touched his lips. He woke up. Seeing the strange woman, he roared in fury and flung her to the floor. Softy hit hard, wincing in pain. She glared. "I saved you, and this is how you treat me. If not for the little snake prince and that stupid blood contract, I'd let you live or die." "Lu Yi, this maid's way too rude. Send her to clean the latrines." "Yes, sir." Lu Yi started dragging her off. "Wait, where's that offering? Did it come here while I was out?" "Your Highness, after you saved her, that ungrateful offering escaped the cage and ran off." Softy stared at Lu Yi lying through his teeth without blinking, wondering what he was scheming. But after seeing rabbit blood heal, Your Highness, he was now convinced she was a rare prize and planned to drag her to the kitchen for stew. His eyes sent chills down her spine. She panicked and yelled Tang Shu's name. Right then, her human form faded away, and she turned back into a rabbit. She quickly burrowed into Tang Shu's arms, shaking with real fear. Seeing the maid turn into a little rabbit, Tang Shu finally got it. The woman earlier was Softy, which meant the memories in his head weren't dreams. "Little bunny, shapeshift back for me. You think this is some trick? I can't just change whenever I want. Then tell me, what were you planning, lying naked next to me while I was asleep?" His gaze pierced right through her, forcing an answer. Lu Yi poured gas on the fire. "Your Highness, this nasty rabbit had evil intentions. If I hadn't brought the medicine in time, who knows what shameful thing it would have done. In my opinion, just boil it into medicinal soup." "That damn Lu Yi setting me up again. Better try softening Tang Shu than end up as soup." Right in front of him, she gently bit her own paw. A drop of blood fell into the medicine bowl. "See, Tang Shu, my blood can heal you. I'm useful. Please don't kill me." "You stupid rabbit! Who told you to do that?" Tang Shu roared, face full of fury. Softy was totally freaked out. She'd just saved him, and he was being this ungrateful? Still, she didn't want the medicine to go to waste, so she gently nudged the bowl toward him. But he knocked it away and started yelling at her again. This was wrong. That was wrong. Was he really gonna stew her? Softy stood there like a scolded kid, paws clasped in front of her chest. Tang Shu gently took one of her tiny paws. "You dumb bunny, even if you're a spirit rabbit, you can't just throw your spirit energy around. Don't do that again, got it?" He was actually worried about her. His soft voice reminded her of the little snake prince. Right then, she felt a sharp pain. It was Tang Shu. His anger reopened the wound. If this kept up, his shoulder would start bleeding again for sure. She quickly gulped down a few sips of the medicinal soup, then hopped onto his shoulder. She gently turned his face toward her with her claws, and fed him the medicine mouth to mouth. The sight gutted Lu Yi like a knife. My prince, defiled again by that low-life rabbit. After feeding him, Softy anxiously kept asking if he was okay, but he just stared blankly, saying nothing. She confusedly patted his cheek. Unlike her panic, Tang Shu's mind was racing. So that's how she'd given him medicine before. She cared this much about whether he lived or died. Because of the little snake prince? No way. She only shapeshifted for me. Could it be she did this because she likes me? He tossed her onto the bed to test his theory. His voice rang out, cold and non-negotiable. I want an explanation. Shapeshift now, then do exactly what you were about to do earlier. She shrank back in fear. Do what I was about to do? Is he testing me? Does he think I've got bad intentions? But if I obey, won't he just hand me over to the sixth prince? No, you've got it wrong. I never wanted to sleep with you, and I don't even know how to shapeshift. This little rabbit's so stubborn. Tang Shu grabbed her ears. Last chance, you gonna shapeshift or not? His collar gaped open at the neck. Softy stared, cheeks blazing. Hold up, this is a trap. He's using his looks to bait me. Heat rushed through her body. She felt like she was actually about to shapeshift this time. Tang Shu waited patiently, but in the end she didn't change. Instead, she passed out from running out of spirit energy. That was the last straw. He really lost it this time. He called Lu Yi in and ordered her locked up, saying the sixth prince could pick her up tomorrow morning. Lu Yi carried the little rabbit out of His Highness's room, then casually handed her to a maid. But the second that maid saw the plump bunny, her eyes lit up with weird excitement. "Little offering, you're awake? Wow, you smell amazing. Don't be scared, I'm Quigo. I'm here to take care of you." This snake made Quigo's eyes flashed blood red. No way Softy trusted she was good. Her forked tongue kept flicking out, like she was just waiting to swallow Softy whole. Softy kicked hard and bolted like her life depended on it. Seeing her run, Quigo, furious, chased right after her. Softy ran until she was exhausted, barely slipping away from her. If Lu Yi hadn't almost killed me last night, I'd have escaped ages ago. Just a bit more, and she'd be back with Tang Shu. She gathered her strength and leaped with both legs, but landed straight back into darkness. Seriously? Lu Yi or Quigo this time? Sixth Prince Tang Chi picked her up, a sly grin spreading across his face. Just like the old tale, waiting for a rabbit by the tree. Couldn't be more spot on. Softy thrashed inside the sack, protesting wildly. Tang Shu seemed to get her anger and promised to let her out. But hearing that familiar voice, a bad feeling crept up on her. "My plump, silly, lusty little rabbit, we meet again. Help! It's that dangerous Tangsi!" But something even scarier was happening. Quigo had turned into a massive python, slithering closer. Seeing that bloodthirsty monster, Softy's whole life flashed before her eyes. She quickly dove back into the sack. But that jerk Tangsi threw the whole sack toward the giant snake. "Tangsi, you filthy venomous creep!" The snake opened its massive jaws to swallow her whole. At the last second, Tangsi's tail whipped out, pulling her back. Softy's soul practically left her body. While Tangsi just laughed, teasing her. "Fun, right? My arena's way more thrilling than this." Tangsa couldn't believe how stupid she was. His third brother had kept this rabbit for a whole month without harming a single hair, and this little maid dared try to kill it? She'd brought this on herself. With one whip of his tail, Tang Chi killed Quigo. Softy was stunned by his brutality. "Little bunny, you didn't die of fright? Looks like you're perfect for Thousand Mechanisms Pavilion." Tangsa hummed as he carried her off. "Next time I see third brother, I gotta thank him." She silently begged the little snake prince and Tang Shu for help. If Tang Xi took her, it'd be a death sentence. "Tang Shu, are you really abandoning me?" Tangcha hummed as he strolled back to his palace. But the rabbit in the sack kept thrashing nonstop. Her two front teeth gnawed relentlessly at the fabric, finally making a hole big enough to squeeze through. But the second she tasted freedom, she froze. Tangsu stood right in front of her. "Trying to escape, little bunny? Too bad Lu Yi already spilled all your tricks to me." "Heh heh, little bunny. Should I take you to the arena or the training hall?" Tangsa tickled under her chin, making her feel his killing intent loud and clear. She started shaking. "Tang Shu, you jerk, if you don't save me, I'll tell everyone your secret. When the little snake prince doesn't see me tonight, he'll flip, then what?" "I've decided. To the training hall." Tang Si grabbed the cage with her in it and strode out. Softy was so scared tears streamed down. Suddenly something flew in and slashed Tang Si's hand, leaving a deep gash. And she dropped from his grip. It was Tang Shu. "I finally got some sleep and your noise woke me up. But I'm pretty sure I cast a sound-blocking spell." "You've got some nerve using a sound-blocking spell to sneak into my estate and steal my rabbit. But your spell didn't muffle the rabbit's squeaks. Come here, little bunny." Tang Shu opened the cage door. Softy was so touched she almost cried. "Tang Shu, you weren't gonna give me away. You really are a good snake." She leaped straight into his arms, instinctively rubbing her cheek against his chin. Tang Shu flinched, his face flushing red all the way to his neck. "Third brother, you care way too much about this rabbit. I'm your actual brother. How can you hurt me over it?" Tang Chi pouted. Tang Shu didn't bother comforting him. "Cut the nonsense. My mother's Consort E, yours is Consort Lin. We're not blood brothers." Hangsa hadn't expected him to be so cold. He sulked for a second, then flashed a wheedling grin. "Third brother, you should actually thank me this time. If I hadn't stepped in, your precious rabbit would have been eaten by that maid out in the yard." Afraid Tang Shu would believe him, Softy quickly patted his chest with her tiny paws, signaling, "Don't listen! If he hadn't grabbed me, I'd have been back ages ago." "Fine, I believe you," Tang Shu said, sounding a little annoyed, then hugged her tight to his chest. Softy kept lightly patting him, wondering if he really got her message. "Third brother, ever wonder why that maid lost control and tried to eat the little rabbit?" "I figure it's because of its intoxicating scent." Tang Si leaned in close to her. A wave of jealousy hit. Tang Shu shoved him back without hesitation. "This little rabbit is mine. No one touches her." Tang Shu's words reminded Softy that offering rabbit blood can heal wounds but also triggers hunting instincts. So long-eared rabbits always avoid getting hurt and only go out once healed. But my wound's already closed, why's the scent still there? Sniff me, Tang Shu! She stood on tiptoe, lifting a paw near his mouth. Tang Shu groaned at her cluelessness. His face flushed again. He stuffed her back into the cage, then draped a black cloth over it. Little bunny, you stay put in there for a few days for me. Softy felt her heart shatter. You idiot, Tang Shu. Does it have to be this extreme? I just touched your lips and now you're locking me in the dark? That night, Softy was woken by noises at the cage. She rubbed her eyes, unsure how long she'd slept. When she looked up, she saw the little snake prince. Little Softy, I searched everywhere but couldn't find the key. Looks like no midnight snack run tonight. Softy pointed to the top of the cage. He could just take the whole cage with him. When they got behind the kitchen, the hole they used to squeeze through was sealed. Now the only way was climbing the ladder. But the little snake prince was scared of heights and didn't want to. Yet when he saw her drooling from hunger, his heart softened. If he didn't go, she'd starve. He set her on a rock, took a deep breath, then charged straight at the door. The door flew open. Little Softy, let's eat. The kitchen was full of mouthwatering goodies. Softy ate until her belly was round and tight. Little Snake Prince, why aren't you eating? I'm not in the mood today. Tang Shu and the Little Snake Prince, one refuses medicine by day, the other skips food by night. Even iron beasts couldn't handle that. No way, you gotta eat something. She pushed a drumstick toward him. He couldn't say no and reluctantly took a bite. But right after, he started coughing hard. Softy watched him worriedly. Little Softy, I don't know how much longer I can stay with you. Even though he saved you yesterday, if I disappear, no one will hold him back. I can't promise he won't hurt you. You should find a way to escape. How does the Little Snake Prince know he's about to vanish? Is it because of yesterday? Before, she'd only sensed Tang Shu's killing intent. But she didn't know who it was aimed at. Turns out Tang Shu wants to erase that other persona. He wants the Little Snake Prince gone forever. Oh, Little Snake Prince, I don't want you to go. You're my only friend in this whole kingdom. The Little Snake Prince scooped her up and gently kissed her forehead. Thank you, Softy. Everyone else wants me gone. Only you want me to stay. That really makes me happy. You know, I've known you for a while, but never asked your real name. Do you have one, Little Softy? She scratched a character on his palm with her claw. Ruan, huh? All right, Ruan Bao. Don't worry. Before I disappear, I'll make sure you get out of here safe. He called her Ruan Bao, Ruan Treasure, making her cheeks burn. As dawn approached, the Little Snake Prince draped the black cloth over her cage again. Softy clutched a meat skewer tight. The little prince hadn't eaten. He'd be hungry as Tang Shu tomorrow morning. She should save it for him. But what's the little prince writing on the table? Who's it for? The next morning, Tang Shu showed up and casually picked up the paper on the table to read. Softy saw everything, so that's how they communicate. After reading the paper, Tang Shu's face darkened. He crumpled it up, then burned it. Softy peeked out secretly, worried sick. She didn't know what the little prince wrote, but Tang Shu was clearly furious. Suddenly, he ripped off the black cloth over the cage. His eyes were ice cold. Had a good look, little bunny. Their eyes locked, the air thick with tension. Softy trembled, wondering what was on that paper to make him this mad. She pushed the leftover meat skewer from last night toward him. Tang Shu eyed it covered in rabbit fur with disgust. Your Highness, Lady E summons you. Lu Yi called from the door. He glanced at the little rabbit, then strode out, ignoring her desperate squeaks. A maid entered the room. Softy watched her warily. My name's Yingguo. His Highness sent me to take care of you. Softy almost laughed. So Tang Shu still had a shred of conscience. But this girl was young. She could snap like Quiguo. At least she couldn't open the cage. Feeling safe for now, Softy curled up to sleep. The little maid nodded off beside her. Suddenly, a masked figure appeared and knocked the maid out. He lifted the cage and carried Softy away. She was stuffed into a black sack again. The jostling woke her. Oh God, not again. Who is it this time? Tang Shu. Little Snake Prince, save me. Eunuch Su, the offering has arrived. The sack was opened, and Softy timidly poked her head out. Where am I? Oh no, this is the Imperial kitchen. Eunuch Su sized her up, then ordered a palace maid to tie a pink ribbon around her neck. That could only mean they were going to eat her. Softy panicked. Only Tang Shu had the cage key. Had he really handed her over to be cooked? That jerk? She'd even saved him a meatball. A young palace maid inspected her whole body, then set her on a small cushion. Eunuch Su led them into the palace. Softy curiously peeked around. Your Majesty, the little rabbit has been delivered. Bring it in. Softy trembled as she looked at the beautiful snake-like woman sitting before her. Rumor had it the palace consorts were obsessed with beauty, and snow rabbit blood was the ultimate youth elixir. This woman was definitely going to eat her. Little snake prince, goodbye forever. I hear you love to eat, the snake woman smiled, pushing a plate of pastries toward her. Softy blinked innocently. This is for me? Whatever, they wouldn't poison her. Who eats a poisoned rabbit? She picked up a pastry and popped it in her mouth. Soft, sweet, melted on her tongue. If this was her last meal, she'd make it count. What an adorable little creature. All right, take it back, Softy froze. Brought her all this way just to feed her pastries? Who on earth was this beautiful snake woman? Scratching sounds came from the cage. Softy rubbed her eyes. It was the little snake prince. He hadn't visited her in 2 whole days. Her ears drooped with worry. He was clawing at the lock. And with a click, it finally popped open. He tried to scoop her into his arms, but stumbled and collapsed. Softy hopped to his side. Ruanbao, you have to run. Get out of here, at least before I disappear. She was terrified. She didn't want him to vanish. But he was getting weaker, almost shifting back to Tang Shu. The time he could control their body was shrinking, until he'd be gone for good. Her face scrunched up. She decided to use her blood to help him. Spirit rabbit blood could heal physical wounds. Maybe it could mend a damaged soul, too. She bit her tongue and fed him her blood. Please don't fade away. The blood stabilized his soul, but he slipped into a deep coma. Only then did Softy realize she'd shape-shifted successfully. Not fully, but she didn't know why. She looked at the little snake prince full of worry. His face was twisted, mumbling "Mom" over and over. Softy's heart ached. She hummed a lullaby like her mom used to, trying to comfort him. The little snake prince existed because Tang Shu feared something. When that fear vanished, so would he. Softy didn't want to lose her friend, but she had no idea what to do. She lost her appetite and didn't want to eat. Tang Shu eyed her with a weird, jealous look. Not hungry today? Is it because he fed you last night, so now you're too good for my food? That pissed Softy off. I hurt myself saving you. So you bit your tongue in your sleep. What a clumsy rabbit. But what did you two do last night to make you turn human? I don't know how I shapeshifted. Just did the same as I did with you before. Same as with me? Tang Shu suddenly recalled her kissing him. His mood soured. He pinched her cheek. The little snake prince is the little snake prince, and I'm me. What you do with me, you don't do with him. Softy was speechless. Aren't they the same person? Right then, Liu Yi burst in. Your Highness, Lady E orders the gluttonous offering rabbit brought to her. What, me again? Softy clung to Tang Shu's arm. Why does your mom want me? She's not going to eat me, right? Save me, I don't know how to turn back into a rabbit. Tang Shu looked annoyed and told Liu Yi to take her. But just like when Tang Si tried to take her, she still wouldn't let go. Liu Yi was worn out. Who knew this dumb rabbit was so strong for a girl? In the tug of war, they accidentally ripped Tang Shu's robe open. Softy panicked, hands flailing. I didn't mean to! I'll tie it back for you. She carefully retied the sash. But her hair got caught in his robe. They were standing way too close, and it felt weird. Softy freaked out. Tang Shu suddenly grabbed her hands. Don't move, stay just like this. She was forced to look up at him, her heart pounding in her chest. He tried pulling her closer into his arms. Their bodies pressed together. Your heart's racing, little bunny. Is it because of me? Haha, you really are a lusty little thing. He leaned in close, making Softy's heart feel like it might explode. Suddenly, with a poof, she turned back into a rabbit. So Tang Shu was right. The key to her shapeshifting was a racing heartbeat. Your Highness, I'll take her to the Empress now, Liu Yi said. Yeah, go ahead. As Liu Yi carried her away, Softy blinked at Tang Shu, begging him not to let her go. But she was taken anyway. The familiar process, the familiar place. Your Majesty, the little rabbit has arrived. Softy was shocked to realize the beautiful, gentle woman was Consort E. She felt a bit embarrassed. The consort scooped her up. Look, everyone, my Zhu found such a cute little creature. I just had to show you. She set Softy on a table full of pastries. Eat up, bunny. Softy's tongue still hurt. But who could say no to the beautiful, kind Consort E? She nibbled on the treats. You know, the consort said, eyeing the pearl bracelet on her wrist, I feel like this bracelet is missing something. Your eyes are pretty nice, little creature. I think they'd look perfect strung with these pearls. Cold sweat broke out on Softy's fur. So Consort E was just like Tang Shu, a scary, vicious snake. Your Majesty, the palace maids are experts at eye removal. Should I call them now? Great idea. Anyway, I think they'd make stunning earrings instead to highlight the Empress's face. Hearing those cruel words, Softy slumped down. She felt so wronged she started crying. Oh my, I went too far. Little bunny, did I scare you? Sorry, I was just kidding. I know you're a poor kid, sent to a place like this way too young. The consort's face softened with motherly warmth as she comforted her. Softy stared, stunned. She was actually apologizing? So noble, yet so gentle. Reminded her of her mom. Ruanbao, remember the only reason you're alive today is because Shu likes you. If you want to live, keep him happy. Consort E called me Ruanbao, but only the little snake prince calls me that. Little Ruanbao, you should know, in my heart, they're no different. They're both my sons. Be a good girl and eat this candy, it'll keep you safe. Tang Shu got back to his room, after bathing. He found the little rabbit waiting. The candy must have been strong. Softy lay on the cushion, flushed and fidgety. He lightly touched her. What's wrong, little creature? You look wiped out. Fever? His cool hand pressed her skin. Snake skin. Gotta feel it. Softy shamelessly threw herself at his chest. Tang Shu was embarrassed and annoyed. What are you doing, little creature? Get off me or I'll skin you, she mumbled, burrowing closer. He quickly realized something was off. Little creature, did Consort E give you an aphrodisiac? Before the words were out, Softy, now human, lunged at him on the bed. She gazed at him with pity. Tang Shu, I feel awful. She kissed his face. That crossed Tang Shu's line. He clamped a hand over her mouth, grabbed a bedsheet, wrapped her up like a burrito, and tossed her onto the mattress. She squirmed uncomfortably. Turn back into a rabbit. If you do, I'll pretend this never happened. What did you say? Is it because I can't perform, Tang Shu? Hearing that bold accusation, Tang Shu nearly spat blood. Little bunny, do you even know what you're saying? You trying to die? Tang Shu, believe it or not, I can't change back right now. Can you feel me? My body's burning up. If I shift, I'll die from the heat. Please. The poison clearly needed handling tonight. Tang Shu pushed her down on the bed. He couldn't take it anymore. You got yourself into this, little creature. He tied her to the bed. You're staying like this overnight to cool off. She started crying, making him even more irritated. He warned if she didn't stop, he'd gag her too. Softy was baffled. As an offering, she was supposed to serve the Snake Lord. So why was he reluctant? If not for this weird reaction, she wouldn't be begging. Tang Shu, please help me. I don't know what else to do. It's not that you have no options, it's that I do. He dragged her to the pool. Little creature, if you can't control yourself, cool off in here. No, I'm not going. You're a horrible snake, she tried to bolt. But he wasn't letting her go. He whipped his tail and knocked her down. With a splash, she hit the water. The sudden result freaked Tang Shu out. He yelled, Ruanbao! His tail plunged into the water after her. As a kid, he'd hidden behind a tree and watched a murder. His mom had tortured another consort's child until it bled and weakened. The consort begged for her kid's life. But Consort E only got crueler, tossing the child into icy water. That bloody scene haunted him forever. Reliving that desperation, Tang Shu yanked his tail back. Softy was happily swimming at the bottom. Good thing her dad taught her to hold her breath. But thinking of that jerk, Tang Shu pissed her off, so she decided to stay under a bit to worry him. He wasn't wrong. The cool water was easing her body heat. After a while, still no sign from the shore. Was he really gonna let her drown? She decided to surface and check. But as she did, a fish bit the sheet wrapped around her. She was shocked. She thrashed around. But the fish was bigger and stronger than her. With the sheet wrapped around her, she couldn't break free. The giant carp dragged her deeper into the pool. She was running out of air, and desperately called for Tang Shu in her mind. On the shore, Tang Shu sensed she was suffocating, and knew something was wrong. But the image of his mom tossing his little brother into the pool flashed in his head. He was terrified of water. But the little rabbit at the bottom had passed out, and the giant carp started sucking her blood. If he didn't save her now, she'd die. Swallowing his fear, Tang Shu whipped his tail, knocking the fish out, scooping the near-drowned rabbit up. Finally, she was safe, but still unconscious. He patted her chest with his tail, and after a bit, she coughed up the water she'd swallowed. The moment she saw him, she burst into tears, grabbed his robe. Why'd you take so long? You have no idea. I almost got swallowed by that ugly fish. Then she wiped her nose on his sleeve. Tang Shu was totally fed up. Your Highness, the ugly fish in this pool is a spirit carp, a young guard said, hauling the massive fish out of the water. What a handsome face. Softy blushed. Thanks, hot guard, for helping me get revenge. Hearing her thoughts, Tang Shu couldn't stand it and quickly sent Guard Lan Yi away. But Softy wasn't done. Can we eat that fish? Tang Shu took off his outer robe and tossed it over her head, ordering her to put it on. His thoughtful gesture confused her even more. Sometimes cruel, sometimes gentle. He was so weird. Tang Shu turned away fast, his energy fading. He warned her not to provoke him, or he'd be in danger too. Provoke who? The hot guard? What? You're still thinking about him? Caught red-handed, Softy tried to explain. But the angry prince? Suddenly poofed into the little snake prince. That's when she realized he meant the little snake prince. Idiot. Like she'd do that kind of thing with him. Watching the little snake prince sleep, Softy felt sleepy too. Energy drained, she turned back into a rabbit, held his hand, and dozed beside him on the grass. From afar, Guard Lanyi saw everything. Softy sleeping next to the little snake prince, shivering and mumbling, so cold from being soaked. He woke up. Ruan Bao, why are you all wet? Lan Yi, bring a brazier. He set her by the fire. Warm up here, Ruan Bao. You'll dry off soon. Lan Yi, I want you to explain exactly what happened. The carp in the lotus pond hurt the offering. Your Highness ordered me to guard here. I don't know more. Why? Bin! The little snake prince slammed his fist on the table. This can't be forgiven. Softy grabbed his hand and blew on his knuckles. Ruan Bao, where did that monster fish hurt you? Still sore? She hopped on the table and pointed to the wound on her leg. The unhealing cut made him suspicious. Lan Yi, was that carp an offering from Ying Kingdom? They haven't given up. The spirit carp kingdom he mentioned ruled underwater, famous for golden scales. But they feared shadow beasts, making them signature spirits of Ying Kingdom. Priests implanted goo insects into some carp, making them loyal to their master for life. They could hide underwater for decades unseen, becoming Ying Kingdom's sneakiest spies. That spirit carp was over 1,000 years old. It could shapeshift human. The little snake prince opened a jar of ointment and gently rubbed it on her leg. Felt amazing. Anyway, Ruan Bao got hurt, and Tang Shu is fully to blame. Softy was stunned by the fire in the little snake prince's eyes. Kid-like, but still Tang Shu. Your Highness, how should we handle the spirit carp? What do you think, Ruan Bao? He asked, patting her butt. She made a throat-slitting gesture. Lan Yi thought she wanted it dead. Offering, it's already gone. Ruan Bao means she wants it cooked. Softy happily rubbed her face against him. The little snake prince gets me best. The spirit carp was turned into sweet and sour fish. Softy's mouth watered. She patted his hand. You eat too. He blushed. I'm not hungry. She pouted. He hadn't eaten properly in days. Even with her blood, it wasn't enough. Right then, he started shaking hard. She thought he was about to turn back into Tang Shu. But no. He shrank into a tiny black snake, curled up and trembling. She hugged his body, but it didn't help. He got colder. The lotus pond water is ice cold. The chill has seeped into your Highness's body and could damage his heart. Little offering, he saved you. Now it's your turn to save him. Lan Yi drew his knife. Softy was ready and stuck out a paw. He made a small cut. And the little snake prince immediately started drinking from the wound. She watched him anxiously. Don't waste a drop. He drank so long she felt like she'd turn into rabbit jerky. I told you we should have used a bowl. Right then, his tail twitched. Tang Shu was coming back. But even after shifting, he kept drinking her blood. She had to yank with all her might to pull her paw free. She tried to dodge, but he grabbed her, bit into her leg and kept drinking. Her head spun. The little snake prince sank his fangs into her plump leg and bit hard. If he didn't let go, she'd be drained dry. In panic, she managed to shapeshift and kicked him square in his handsome face. Of the 36 strategies, running is best. She bolted for the door, but he was a step faster, snatched her ankle, and sent her crashing to the floor. Lan Yi, do something with your prince. Your Highness is awake, I'll go prep lunch. And with a whoosh, Lan Yi vanished. Tang Shu loomed behind her, eyes full of predator, and lunged at her again. Terrified, she screamed his name, hoping to snap him out of it. But he just pinned her wrists and licked the blood from her hand. Tang Shu, you can't drink more. Keep this up and I'll die. She couldn't take it and unleashed her ultimate move, iron headbutt. No snake could withstand her headbutt, and Tang Shu was no exception. She wrestled to drag his unconscious body onto the bed. After a chaotic night, she was wiped out too. Looking at his sleeping form, she decided to lie down beside him. All night, his hand stayed under her head. He flexed his stiff fingers, then glanced at the bruise on her leg, eyes flashing with anger. He gently touched it, then like a troublemaker, jabbed hard at the bruise. Softy shot up in bed. Shoo, why'd you do that? Little bunny, where'd that bite mark come from? What did you and him do behind my back last night? I couldn't even do anything, he's just a kid. What could he do? If it was any other snake last night, I'd have been fine. Her bold words left him speechless. You saying I can't perform? It's only because the Empress gave me that pill that I lost control. Your Highness, you're not my only option. Why'd you throw me in the pond as fish bait? Tang Shu's brow furrowed. Little bunny, were you hoping another snake would help you? Why not? I was suffering. All I want is to survive. Let me go. You're so unreasonable. You can't do it yourself, but you won't let anyone else help. Her words made him angrier by the second. He gripped her chin tight. Don't you know when to stop, little bunny? Only then did he notice the glaring wound on her palm, and remembered what happened last night. So she got hurt because of him. He loosened his grip, voice low with possession and jealousy. No one else gets to help. Your Highness, Lan Yi called from outside. I've confirmed the Crown Prince met privately with Ying Kingdom's envoy. In that case, I think this spirit carp is too big to eat alone. We should invite the Crown Prince to share. Softy was stunned. But good news, she'd finally meet the infamous Crown Prince. The goal she'd longed for was about to appear. The Crown Prince would attend the banquet tomorrow, perfect chance to poison him. But where would she get poison? This wound, ow, it hurts. This spirit carp bite won't heal. Tang Shu, you're responsible. Take me to a doctor. If she saw a doctor, she could definitely get some poison from him. Fine. Lan Yi, have Yingo fetch Dr. Heyixian. You stay here and watch the little bunny. Then, rethinking, he added, actually, better stand at least 10 meters away from her. While waiting, Softy swung on the courtyard swing. Lan Yi, following the prince's orders, stood far off. Lan Yi, don't be so stiff. Want one? She offered him a cherry, but he didn't react. Who needs my special care? Softy turned and saw a tiny girl. Red hair floating mid-air. Are you the injured one? You got it. Softy pointed to the wound. A spirit carp bit me, and it won't heal. What, you dragged me here for a little scratch? The tiny doctor grumbled and started flying off. Softy grabbed her wing. Wait, Dr. Heyixian. I've got a deal for you. You know I'm a pink wood spirit rabbit. My blood can heal. You're staying at the estate to treat the prince, right? I can help you. The tiny doctor looked intrigued. She rummaged in her bag. I don't have enough herbs. I need to go back to my garden to brew medicine. An idea sparked in Softy's head. I'll come with you. But the doctor shot it down instantly. That's my garden, full of my precious herbs. Doctor, how about this? I'll go with you and you can take some of my blood to study. If Lan Yi were there, he'd definitely object. Softy gave her the most sincere, wide-eyed look possible. The tiny doctor thought it over and agreed. She turned to Lan Yi. The treatment needs a medicinal bath. You don't need to follow. I'll handle her myself. Softy cheered and hugged the doctor. In the doctor's garden, Softy gazed at all the herbs. Don't touch anything, the doctor warned. Some are deadly poison. Softy casually asked which ones were toxic to steer clear of them. The tiny doctor had no clue she'd named every single herb. Softy could barely contain her glee. Everything was going smoothly. While the doctor was busy, Softy quietly stuffed a few toxic herbs into her pocket. Your Highness. Lan Yi's voice from the door. Tang Shu was here. He couldn't see. Gotta hide now. She jumped into a large medicinal bathtub in the room. Doctor, the prince is here. Just tell him I'm bathing. Where'd the little rabbit go? She's detoxing in the bath inside. As if he hadn't heard, Tang Shu opened the door. Softy panicked in the tub. Don't come over, Tang Shu. The stolen herbs were hidden under her clothes on the floor. If he came in, it was over. She begged him not to, saying she was naked. As if he hadn't heard, he walked straight to her tub. Forgot already, little bunny? Is there any part of you I haven't seen? She sank into the water, face burning. I thought maybe you wanted to see more. Her words pissed him off. He stood behind her, face dark. She trembled. He reached out, grabbed the tub's edge, and pulled, yanking her right into his arms. I came to remind you the Crown Prince is coming, he said, voice low and furious. You'd better not wander the estate. If he likes you and takes you, I won't save you this time. But Softy fired back with defiance. Tang Shu was annoyed by her reaction. He turned to her pile of clothes. Get dressed. You're coming back with me now. Oh no, he'll find the poison. She jumped out of the tub. I want clean clothes. I'm not wearing those. He stared, eyes dropping to the pile on the floor. What are you up to now, little bunny? Same old trick? It won't work on me. She blushed, but then remembered how much he hated her schemes. If she leaned into it, maybe he'd be grossed out enough to leave. She grabbed his robe corner and pressed her naked body against him. How about a new move, Your Highness? But he saw right through her. He ripped open the front of his robe, pretending to undress. You've gone this far. I'll join you in the bath. That terrified the bunny. She faked dizziness and called for the doctor. The tiny doctor rushed in, saw the scene and backed right out. She hadn't ditched Tang Shu, and now the doctor misunderstood. Tang Shu sighed. Fine, stop yelling. You've got 1 incense stick's time to get back to your cage. Do it, and I won't ask about what's in that pile. Drawn by the feast's aroma, the Crown Prince arrived at the estate. Long time no see. Didn't expect you to miss me this much, sharing treasure with me. The second I saw the divine fish, I thought of you, big brother. Really? Then what are we waiting for? Let's start the banquet. On command, 4 veiled young women entered, carrying trays of food. Tang Shu's eyes instantly spotted a familiar figure among them. The little bunny had snuck in. What was she planning in a dangerous place like this? The Crown Prince was seething with rage. Softy presented the divine fish dish to the Crown Prince. But suddenly, he grabbed her hand. Wait, I always test food for poison first? Softy froze solid. Had she been caught? While she stood stunned, the crown prince lifted a piece of fish to her lips. You first, little girl, and you can drop the veil now. The fish she'd offered him was laced with a deadly poison mix. She couldn't refuse. Her hand shook as it touched the veil. What's wrong, big brother? Don't you even trust me anymore? At the last second, Tang Shu spoke up. Softy looked at him, tears welling up. Tang Shu, I knew you were a good snake. Young lady, come here. Give my brother the plate I've already eaten from. That'll be safer. Oh no! He was mad. But if she swapped plates, the plan would fail and Tang Shu would be poisoned for nothing. She jumped to her feet. But the crown prince grabbed her wrist again. Just kidding. Of course I trust my little brother. The crown prince took a piece of fish from her plate. He ate it. He actually ate it. Snow Princess's engagement was saved. Just as she was celebrating, he spat the fish out. This fish is terrible. We should find a new chef. You're right, big brother. However, I hear you're on good terms with the Ying clan. Maybe you could ask them to send over a few more divine spirit fish. That would give my chefs a chance to practice. And in the future, we could present this specialty to father. I definitely won't forget your contribution. What? On good terms with the Ying clan? This is news to me. I'll head back right now and find out who's spreading these rumors. He's leaving? Panicking, Softy stepped forward and blocked his path. What's the meaning of this, darling? Your Highness, to prepare for this banquet, the prince made us rehearse a dance for 3 straight days. Would we have the honor of performing it for you? Is that so? I'm looking forward to it. The crown prince, full of curiosity, sat back down. The poison failed, but if she can get the crown prince to take her with him, she'll have plenty more chances to kill him. He's enchanted. When her skirt brushed his face, he couldn't hold back any longer. He grabbed the fabric and pulled her into his arms. From the side, Tang Shu burned with jealousy. But the crown prince was just getting started. This maid of yours, Miss Tang Shu, is something special. Why not let me have her?